Do you ever worry about the way things are going to turn out? You want something to work out so bad in your favor, you will do anything to make it work the way that you think it should. Does this sound like you? Because it definitely sounds like me. And most of the time we call this anxiety, but today we're going to cover if something's meant for you, it's going to happen. And there's nothing in the world that can get in the way of it. Recently, something happened at my job. I need to note that I am on contract at my job, and the contract is ending in January. So this company I work for is huge on safety. It's one of their biggest things. So a couple of weeks ago, I had what was called a safety incident, and I did break policy and procedure. I was very honest about it in my statement. The first thing I said after I had the incident, my coworker came over and I looked at him, and in not a calm voice, like I'm doing right now, I said, I'm going to lose my job. Am I going to lose my job? And he's very honest with me. He said, I don't think so. I don't know though. And proceeded to try to make me feel better. Did I feel better? No, but I gave him 2 thumbs up for trying, because at that point, there was nothing that he was going to say that was going to ease my anxiety. So honestly, in that situation, there was nothing that I could do that was going to make the situation better. And like many other people in the world, I try to have a control because there's in my head a certain way I think a situation should work out. And I really want it to. And I do suffer from anxiety. So I try my best to do everything to make it work out in my favor. Because honestly, getting extended with this company would be a blessing. I'm even lucky that I'm employed there, and I appreciate it every day. So the incident happened. I had the consequences. Everybody was actually good about it. My bosses were really supportive. The staff was supportive. I was really anxious about that too. I thought I was going to be dragged down the road and ridiculed by everyone, but nobody did that, thank goodness. And at the end of the day, I did feel really good about the situation. But in the back of my head, I said, okay, this was a safety incident, and I don't know. Like I mentioned, it was going to work out how it was going to work out. This was one thing I couldn't control. I'm actually happy to say today was my first day off, and my boss got a hold of me, and they are extending my contract until January 2027. And then I don't know what's going to happen then, but that's so far in the future, it doesn't even matter. So that was going to work out in my favor. And I am proof that there's nothing that I could do that was going to go against it. I do believe in God. So God's plan for me, there was nothing that man could do that was going to make it turn any differently. This is only one situation. And yeah, you're right. It is only one situation. There's also something that I love. It was a movie. I wish I could remember what it was called, but it was about Mufasa and Scar. And then he was adopted into Scar's tribe. I actually love that movie because the message I got from that was there was nothing that was going to happen to Mufasa that was going to prevent, for lack of a better word, his destiny was, or his fate. So many people try to get in the way of him becoming king. And at the end of the day, he became king because that's what was meant for him. As people, I know that sometimes we suffer, especially in this world today, because we want to have control. And we're watching self-help books, we're reading self-help books, watching things on TikTok, watching things on Facebook, how to make a situation go that way. And although at the end of the day, I do believe there are things that you could do. Like, for example, my job. Obviously, I couldn't go in there and be the worst employee that they've ever seen and expect to have my contract extended. There are things that happen that are out of our control. If it's meant for you, it's going to happen. And that might not be enough to ease your worries, because I know what it's like to have anxiety. And yes, it does suck. But if it is meant for you, if it's truly meant for you and it's in your best interest, it is going to happen. And the only other thing is sometimes it's not going to happen in the way that you want. And I'm going to take relationships, for example. I am no expert on relationships. Let me tell you that. I've had a few. And at the end of the day, those weren't for me. There were so many times during breakups, I did so many things because I wanted the control. Or maybe I thought it was an unjust breakup. I wanted the guy back. I was watching so many things on the internet. Like, this is what you need to do to make this guy obsessed with you. This is what you need to do to get him back. When really, I didn't need to do anything, because if the relationship was in my best interest and something that was really going to happen for me, I don't need to go out and be something other than myself to make this relationship work. I don't need to make that guy obsessed with me. Yeah, there's some inner work I could do, but at the same time, you're just not going to do something to make it work out, because at the end of the day, if it's you that's in control of it, to making it and to control your destiny and to make this thing work out, most of the time it's just not going to work. So maybe it will come around, because that's happened before. And again, examples, relationships. There has been guys that I broke up with, and then eventually we've got back together. But at the end, we just ended up parting ways anyway. But I did everything in my power to try to get those guys back. And sometimes it was even changing who I was just so I could make it work out. And that was so wrong, because you never want to change who you are as a core of a person, if they don't like you like that, then it is not for you. You do not want to change who you are for someone else. And again, when it comes to the employment sector, like how I was talking about that I was on contract, yeah, I had to put my best foot forward, but there were some things that were just out of my control. Like another thing too, the economy, that would be something that would contribute to if I was going to get hired full time or be renewed or be let go. And I can't control the economy. So yeah, I can worry about it. I can try to do my best, but that doesn't mean it's always going to work out in my favor. But again, if it's not meant for me, it's not going to happen. And another thing about the job is before this job, I actually worked at another job that I was absolutely miserable at. I had to take a stress leave twice. And I'm not going to lie, I did the interview with this place before I was going to quit this place because I wanted to make sure that it was going to work out. So yes, there are some things that you do need to do. Again, I actually got laid off from that job before I found out about this job. And when I got laid off, I was a little bit nervous because I wasn't quite sure how the interview went. And again, this is a huge company and it was a really big blessing that I got hired. So thank you, God. But again, when I got laid off, I was stressed because this was out of my control. So I was not going to have money and income for a little while. And I didn't know if I had this other job lined up. At the end of the day, it was what God wanted and it was what was meant for me. So I did end up getting this job and I was very fortunate, very lucky. And now I've got extended. I don't know what the future holds. And again, I'm going to put my best foot forward and be a good employee from here on out. If I'm meant to be at this company for the rest of my life, it's just going to happen. So yes, I can be a good employee, but there are a lot of other factors that can come into play that I can't control. So I know I've said a lot. I've kind of rambled. I've talked about movies. I've talked about my own life. To sum this all up, to kind of hit the point, sometimes you can control things and sometimes you can't. And there's no magical formula. There's nothing I can say. This is not a how-to video. Oh, this is what you need to do to go out to make it work like this. No, I'm not going to give you that formula because I actually don't have it. Yeah, I know that some people have anxiety and I get that. And you get anxious about things. I get anxious about things. I have anxiety. I take medication. I'm very open about that. But again, at the end of the day, if it's meant for you or if you believe in God or the universe, whatever, it's just going to happen. And there's nothing you can do. So the best advice I can tell you is to take it day by day, step by step, go out, live your best life. And remember, you can't control everything. And yeah, you can be upset. You can be worried. Nobody knows what the future is going to hold. But sometimes the best form of control is no control. And I know that's a hard one to master, but it's something you got to learn. And we can discuss that later. So in saying this, I said this many times throughout the podcast, if it's meant to be, and if it's for you, it's going to happen. There's nothing that's going to get in the way with it. And this is something that you need to, like your self mantra, that you need to start out for yourself. So thank you for listening. Remember how amazing you are and stay kind and like and subscribe for more.